could be stopped and even reversed. Enhancements could dramatically raise our IQs and make us stronger and fitter. We might even be able to leave our fragile bodies behind and upload ourselves to computers, living forever in virtual worlds.
Instead, our minds are uploaded to a digital world. They might live on in a realistic simulated environment with avatar bodies and could still call in and contribute to the biological world.
The future belongs to artificial intelligence. The only way for humanity to survive is to embrace it and become wholly or partially artificial ourselves. Such a new beginning would in effect be the end of humanity as we know it. If the transhumanists are right, we could be one of the last generations of humans to roam the planet.
Humanity is in the midst of a second industrial revolution, but the products this time will not be textiles or machines or vehicles. The products this time will be humans themselves. We are basically learning to produce bodies and minds that will eventually be the two main products of the future. This statement is made by Yuval Noah Harari, a well-known author and Israeli historian, whose predictions about AI taking over our lives in the future is already becoming true.
We are probably one of the last generations of Homo sapiens, because in the coming generations, we will learn how to engineer bodies and brains and minds.
However, he's not just an historian who digs into the facts of our ancestors. There's something dark behind his visions that most of us are failing to recognize. In his famous books, which are heavily praised by controversial individuals like Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, he openly claimed that our ancestors survived by chance. Furthermore, he argued that humans have only caused destruction to this world since their arrival. And it is only through replacing the present generation with a new world order we can bring endless benefit to this world, even if it means replacing the very existence of humans.
Now, what do you need in order to hack a human being? You need two things. You need a lot of computing power, and you need a lot of data, especially biometric data.
Surveillance, people could look back in 100 years and identify the coronavirus epidemic as the moment when a new regime of surveillance took over, especially surveillance under the skin, which I think is maybe the most important development of the 21st century, is this ability to hack human beings, to go under the skin, collect biometric data, analyze it, and understand people better than they understand themselves. This, I believe, is maybe the most important event of the 21st century.
It is astonishing that the social and economic elite of the world seem to want to stop at nothing to push technology advancement, even if the outcome will be detrimental to the majority of people. In 2016, Elon Musk announced that his Neuralink company that focuses on installing AI-based microchips in our brains will enable someone with paralysis to use a smartphone with their mind faster than someone using thumbs.
I mean, frankly, to sort of simplify this, what we're, I mean, it's more complicated than this, but it's, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a Fitbit in your skull with tiny wires.
And 5 months ago, Elon Musk openly declared that his company is now preparing to conduct these tests on humans. So let me introduce you to Neil Harbison, who is now legally recognized as the world's first cyborg, with an antenna implanted in his skull. This antenna not only helps in translating radiation from phone calls or videos into audible vibrations, but also allows him to receive signal and data from satellites. Transhumanism is much closer than we think.
Since the age of 21, instead of seeing color, I can hear color. It's a color sensor that detects the color frequency in front of me and sends this frequency to a chip installed at the back of my head, and I hear the color in front of me through the bone, through bone conduction. So for example, if I have like, this is the sound of purple. For example, this is the sound of grass. This is red.
Other corporations are pressing forward in the area of transhumanism. Alcor Life Extension Foundation is the largest cryogenic facility in Arizona that currently uses technology to store more than 100 people in liquid nitrogen so that they can be brought back to life in the future.
So behind this stainless steel, there are patients.
And the list of corporations engaged in this type of life-extending technology just goes on and on. In other words, this race between the tech giants and taking over the human body to extend life is also called transhumanism. In February this year, only 7 out of 23 monkeys owned by Musk Neuralink managed to survive the infamous chip implant test. An animal rights group, Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, that submitted complaints against Neuralink in the US Department of Agriculture, argued that during the experiment, monkeys suffered extreme pain and the suffering led to their deaths. However, Musk's Neuralink claimed that only 8 were euthanized.
Each time the monkey moves his hand left or right, that movement begins as an electrical signal in his brain, an impulse that eventually sends the message down his arm to move his hand. But the Neuralink implants read these signals while they're still inside the brain, before the monkey has even moved, when the movements are still just intentions.
Harari has made a very concerning prediction. By 2050, a new class of humans would emerge, which will openly be accepted as the useless class. These will be those individuals who refuse to be injected with AI-based technologies in their bodies. He said humans would become hackable animals, and that the masses would not stand much of a chance if they choose not to then adjust to the world of AI. This also proves how the rich are aiming at building a clear line between the rich and the poor, just like in the movie In Time with Justin Timberlake.
We don't normally make pickups in this zone.
I was lost.
Please deposit 1 month. Deposit 2 months.
There are more of these than I remember. That was a year.
Welcome to New Greenwich. What are you really doing here?
I'm gonna take them for everything they've got.
The strange part is that Harari does not even own a smartphone, but he is adamant about revolutionizing our future by eradicating what we commonly know to be human beings. In his 2016 book, Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow, he clearly laid down several methods through which this objective could be achieved. So where are we heading exactly? Are we really going to become AI robots like the movie Alita? Are we the last generation of humans that will exist without incorporating robotic parts into our bodies? And why are these people, as well as these corporate giants, not prepared to stop, despite being aware of advancing further could actually destroy human existence as we know it and erase our history? So in this video, we will find out what exactly is transhumanism and why tech giants are constantly after it. Let's also discuss how we can prepare ourselves for the future and not fall into the hands of corporate giants and corrupt politicians who are just looking for another way to have power and control over our lives. Transhumanism was founded in 1923 by British geneticist J.B.S. Haldane. In his essay called Science and the Future, Haldane believed that the application of advanced sciences to human biology could bring massive benefits to their health and intelligence. However, other experts who were inspired by this concept started considering it as a gateway towards making humans immortal. In 1954, the idea of evading death by uploading and restoring human consciousness appeared for the first time in Jerry Soule's novel, The Altered Ego. The same prediction was also witnessed in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, when Dr. Zola's mind was uploaded to the computer to keep him alive for centuries.
I am not a recording, Fräulein. I may not be the man I was when the captain took me prisoner in 1945, but I am. Look around you. I have never been more alive.
Surprisingly, all these factors eventually led to the establishment of various companies that are promising to achieve things that were only possible in sci-fi movies. In 1976, the first Cryonics Institute was established, which freezes dead humans and pets in liquid nitrogen with the hope of restoring them with technology in the future. In 1998, the World Transhumanist Association was founded by the philosopher Nick Bostrom and David Pearce, which is now called Humanity Plus. Their ultimate objective is to make transhumanists recognized as legal persons or citizens of society by conducting debates on issues like brain enhancement in rights, going meta with brain in worldview, and the culture of future. Now in 2011, Google X Lab started working on Google Brain, an AI research project that focuses on blending the human brain with technology. Some of their famous projects include Google Translate, which millions of people use every day.
I've been using Google Translate in work, so I thought I'd just give Gary the app on my phone.
Go play left-hand side, okay?
Ve a jugar en el lado izquierdo.
That's the breakthrough we needed.
Entrenador, ¿no puedo irme a casa ya? Estoy agotado.
Coach, can we go home now? I'm exhausted.
And in 2012, CRISPR technology was formed, which focuses on cutting out infectious or undesirable DNA in living organisms and pasting in new desirable DNA in its place. Let me give you an example. You will be able to genetically design a baby as per your choice. He or she can have the eye color of your choice, and since this process would be expensive, a new class of human beings will exist. And this could easily lead to discrimination against those who cannot afford this technology. And soon creating perfect humans within the society would become a social norm, thus leading towards enormous discrimination amongst human beings who are just considered regular. But what if I told you it is already happening? In 2010, Neil Harbison, world's first cyborg, co-founded an international organization called Cyborg Foundation, which defends cyborg rights, promotes cyborg art, and supports people who want to become cyborgs. Not only that, in 2017, he also co-founded the Trans-Species Society, which supports people with non-human identities, raises awareness of the challenges trans species face, and also supports the development of new senses and organs in the community. This reminds me of the statement made when Harari warned us by stating, in 2048, people might have to cope with migrations of cyberspace, with fluid gender identities, and with new sensory experiences generated by computer implants. Who am I will be a more urgent and complicated question than ever before. But why are corporate giants jumping into this arena where still a lot of uncertainty remains as to how successful they could be in the future? The answer simply boils down to the centuries-old statement that even today applies to the 21st century, which is the survival of the fittest. You see, for centuries, the one who is the strongest or the richest ruled the world. Historically speaking, it was the Vikings with their super strength who ruled between the 8th and 11th centuries. However, in the 21st century, our greed towards using technology as a means to express superiority over others is ultimately leading towards our own destruction. While on one hand, Russia has gathered the largest stock of nuclear weapons, and on the other hand, China is using AI to control citizens through its infamous social credit system.
Everywhere she goes, Ouyang Haoyu is followed. What she buys, how she behaves, is tracked and scored to show how responsible and trustworthy she is. It's called the social credit system, and scores are docked for things like littering, a messy yard, gossip, even jaywalking. And information collectors like Zhou Aini are paid to report on their neighbors. Her quota, 10 entries a month. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job or put kids in top schools.
Although it is true that technology is now helping us to solve complex problems, a universal line should be created where humans could feel satisfied with what they have. Not to forget, we are truth seekers. Whenever we see something better than the previous way of living, we tend to adopt it and do it quickly. However, there are also people in the world who love doing the same profession and enjoying living in a traditional life based on their religious and spiritual beliefs. Think of farmers who love farming and want to carry on the tradition. But the rise in well-structured machinery created by corporate giants is slowly making the existence of farmers obsolete. And even if the majority of people don't want to evolve, the greed of corporate giants and their insatiable need for profits will keep pushing the advancement of technology, shifting the traditional ways humans live without our consent. So is it acceptable that wealthy people with large amounts of money and power are the ones steering human civilization?
I'm having so much fun.
As intimidating as it looks, we are already becoming cyborgs without even realizing. And as Jeff Bezos is spending millions on Altos Labs that helps in prolonging your life by rejuvenating your cells, things are going to be a lot weirder and uncontrollable in the future. If you remember Captain America from the Avengers, he never aged despite being older than 90 years. And Altos Labs is the one who is aiming to make that a reality.
You've been asleep, Cap, for almost 70 years.
Now, Harari said, by the middle of the 21st century, humans will have to deal with things no one has ever encountered before, like super intelligent machines, engineered bodies, algorithms that can manipulate your emotions with uncanny precision, and the need to change your profession every decade. As biotechnology and machine learning improve, it would become easier to manipulate our desires and emotions. Harari argued, when Coca-Cola, Amazon, and the government knows how to pull the strings of your heart, would you be able to tell the difference between yourself and the marketing experts? Harari does have a significant point, because if you check your YouTube suggestion right now, it will only recommend videos that you love watching. If you like funny videos like Daniel LaBelle, then the YouTube algorithm will keep suggesting you all his videos and anything similar whenever you log into YouTube. This effectively traps people into silos and limits their ability to discover new ideas. Soon they will monitor all your steps, all your breaths, all your heartbeats. They're relying on big data and machine learning to get to know you better and better. And once these algorithms know you better than you know yourself, they can control and manipulate you, and you won't be able to do much about it. You'll be in the Matrix or even the Truman Show.
You know, we'll soon have the power to re-engineer our bodies and brains, whether it is with genetic engineering or by directly connecting brains to computers, or by creating completely non-organic entities, artificial intelligence, which is not based at all on the organic body and the organic brain.
But if you look closer, Harari is the perfect example of how our thirst for making our life better could result in the destruction of our very own self. Because despite being aware that our existence could soon be wiped out, Harari is openly claiming that in the future, we will worship big data. And he said, to take control of your life, you need to work very hard on understanding the operating system better. You must know who you really are and what you want from your life. And to survive and flourish in such a world, you need to make your mind flexible by controlling your emotions with time. You have to run faster than the algorithm, faster than Amazon, and faster than the government to know yourself better. However, if the algorithms understand you better than you know yourself, then the ultimate authority of your life will simply shift into their hands. But why do we have to run faster than algorithms or lose our jobs to AI? Why wouldn't we simply stop? If transhumanism is not going to serve everyone, we absolutely have to stop. If the acceleration of technology continues without our consent, then God help us all.